Thomas Jefferson said there's no freedom in a mob, and he's absolutely right. We can both protect our community, including the people here, by passing a legal moratorium, and be Americans true and true, in my opinion, honor the rules that we live by that gives us such freedom. Our country is unparalleled in freedom that we have, and I think that we should listen to the county attorney. This is a very complex area. This is a very severe restriction on freedom. We can both have a moratorium tonight, and we can do it in a way that the county attorney, who is the attorney who's advising us, says it meets those standards which result in such freedom for all of us. So for that reason, I would ask for the motion or in the seconder to consider amending the motion as a friendly motion to the language which would be an immediate moratorium that would immediately provide significant immediate protection to our community.
It won't cover us.
Yeah, it doesn't have to include
This moratorium will last 2 weeks. And for me, if someone's going to sue me, I got a 97 Chevy pickup that got to tie the tailgate up, so that's what all they're going to get. So I think we gamble. We do a moratorium for the last 2 weeks, and then Jan come up with something that we can do. To me, it's worth the gamble to do it that way. And I think we should vote on this and get going.
Okay, I'm going to call the question.
No, I don't want to call the question. I want to comment. I don't think, since I'm the second on the motion, I'd like to comment, speak to it directly. I don't think that it
well,
is.
Point of order, first of all, from your parliamentarian. If somebody calls the question, it's non-debatable, non-discussable. If you're going to let another commissioner talk, you need to withdraw your call the question.
Oh, I'll withdraw first. So you can make your comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't think that we serve anybody by doing something that was not advised by our legal counsel and that may be perceived as illegal. I don't want to be challenged, and I don't want to open this county up to a lawsuit just to simply open the county to a lawsuit. I vote for this thing under her conditions if it included legally unlicensed daycares.
We could do that.
No,
That
well, I'm
could
not.
be any help.
That's my motion is for 2 weeks to do it countywide, every single place in the county. It'll be a moratorium for 90 days. We could be done in 2 weeks. That's my motion. If someone wants, if you're going to change it, then my motion's done. I want my motion to be voted on, and then once it's voted on, either it'll pass or it won't. And then after that's
his intent. When you seconded, were you seconding what he was proposing?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounded wonderful until the attorney said, don't do it.
Okay, so
I'm
you
not
withdraw.
protecting you if you do this.
I'm going to second his motion.
Okay, you're withdrawing. Okay.
I didn't.
Commissioner Russell. McMahon seconding that. Okay.
Did you withdraw your motion?
No, I didn't say those words.
Okay, keep going then.
Well,
Do something.
your second is different from his
Let's
motion.
vote, guys. Let's
Yeah,
vote.
let's vote.
I mean, either you want it narrow or you don't. And it doesn't sound like anybody here does. So
I think that we should.
I think we should vote. These people.
I think we
came
should
to hear
vote
us
aside,
vote,
yes.
and,
We'll
you
vote
know,
on your, make your motion to.
my motion is for a moratorium.
Anything, and we are.
No conditions. It's countywide until up to 90 days. But we can vote on something real in 2 weeks.
For clarification, your motion is for a moratorium on no housing whatsoever for level 3 predatory offenders for up to 90 days.
Yep,
Is that right?
that's exactly what I said. Yep.
Second, good.
And it's Robinson has made the motion, and right now Walker has seconded it.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm good with the second,
You're good.
sure. I may not vote for it, but
Okay, now
And
we
we
gotta
make
vote
another
on it.
motion.
Let's vote on it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
No.
4-1. Move on to the consent agenda. Bruce, go ahead.
Today's consent agenda consists of 9 items. The first 5 items have been forwarded from the Health and Human Services Committee of the Whole. And they include the director's update, payment of county warrants, personal requisition for a case aid, healthcare coalition letter of agreement, and a national citizen review panel conference request for travel. Item number 6 is payment of county warrants and miscellaneous bills. Item number 7, approval of the minutes from the March 18th, 2015 regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Number 8 is to approve a labor agreement with Health and Human Services supervisors for 2015. And number 9 is to approve a renewal of a life and disability rates for 2015.
Okay. Any items anybody wish to pull?
I'd like to discuss 8.
Okay, pull that. Any others?
The minutes, 7.
7, pull that. Okay, anything else? See nothing else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Carries. Okay, let's vote the minutes first.
We, as the citizen mentioned, we aren't, the way the county board speaks formally is to make motions and to convey them and to vote on them. And we have had a number of, at least 2 meetings that I've gone back and looked at where I know I've made motions on the sex offender ordinance and they're not being recorded. And that's very concerning to me because this entire board voted on these motions and they're not being recorded.
Rick, one of those motions was made after George made a motion. That's why it wasn't recorded, because George had.
My motion was on the floor.
On the floor first.
Yours wasn't recorded because he already had his motion and somebody's second. Yes, that's why. it
I'm
wasn't
saying that
recorded.
none of them are being recorded.
I'm just saying that one there.
Not mine, not George's,
Oh.
nobody's.
I'm saying George had a motion on the
Just-
floor.
On page 7, it'll indicate that we had a discussion, not that anybody made a motion.
Where's that again?
After Commissioner Green resumed his duties as chairperson.
Well, I just don't recall. Did staff listen to and there was no motion made during that time? Okay,
I made a motion,
I just can't.
and I was
Well,
told I
wait,
couldn't make a motion
The
because
meetings,
Commissioner
the meetings
McMahon
are
had
all on
already made
YouTube.
one.
We can go to YouTube word for word and find it. If it's wrong, go to YouTube. They're all on there. All the meetings are on there, and then we can look right on there and see if they're in motion there.
Yeah,
We don't have to argue it here. We can just turn on the computer and go to YouTube. All the
But we
meetings
do
are
have
being
a
taped.
responsibility to
They're all
have
being
accurate
taped and
minutes.
put on TV. So we'll just take a look at them and see. And if they're either they're there or they aren't. It's right on the computer. You can look and see.
You just have to follow.
Well, I guess I just want to say I'd appreciate it if my motions are recognized on behalf of
As I
District
know-
1 residents. I'd
I know
really
George,
appreciate that.
George made a motion, we passed. You recommend seeing a certain person down at the Capitol.
That's right. And there was a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
We voted for the motion.
Yeah, and voted. Then I asked you afterwards if you wanted to continue yours, and you didn't respond.
I'm just alerting you, Mr. Chairman, there's no
But that-
record of
that's
that.
fine.
That's the way I remember it.
There's no record of that in your
Yeah,
minutes.
so, but that, I did ask.
Well, look at the internet. See what
Can I
happens.
just make a comment on it?
Go ahead.
Okay, now, I think that, the way I understand Robert's rules, in my opinion, the way that we've practiced, I think, as a county board, years I've been here, and I know that Commissioner Rouse and I have served many, many years together, it doesn't count as a motion until it's recognized by the chair. And so the chair could count it as a motion, then rule it out of order, or simply not count it as a motion. And then, if it's not being counted as a motion, any member could challenge the ruling of the chair, which would be not to recognize it as a motion. I think that when it is recognized by the chair, then it becomes a matter of the minutes, I believe. I believe that's the way we practiced it in all the years
Yeah,
that
it
I
was
served.
challenged, and it's part of the minutes, but nothing was said. George had the motion on the floor.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
that's what
hear
was
it,
voted
and
on.
the administrator brought to my attention that George had made a motion. And then I went to George because he made it before Cora made it. and we.
I mean, we can try to review them again. We
Yeah.
keep,
And
Chase
then-
keeps notes, I keep notes.
George's motion to pass.
Depending on the issues.
Just look on YouTube, it's all on there.
But,
Put on
I
YouTube,
mean,
it's all on there.
you know, we did interpret it as consensus of the board, not a formal motion, but even if it was, we would have had it as Commissioner Monson, not yours. So we go back and review it again. I mean, that's,
I just don't recall.
yeah,
for sure
I
what it
mean,
was.
you know, that's why you have a clerk and, you know,
Okay.
try
Yeah.
to record
Right.
it, so.
Sure.
You
I'm-
want
I'm-
to table the minutes for further review?
It's board direction, so.
Would work?
No, I think
Or-
time is used.
Or do you want them?
I'm just saying, you can just turn on your internet to go to YouTube. This guy's taping them, he's putting them on every meeting's on YouTube, so just look and see what was said.
But it's not in here, so it'd have to be brought up next meeting.
Mr. Chair. I think staff has indicated they carefully looked at the resources that they had about the meeting. And I think that we would have the ability to amend our minutes if they can report and further look into it. So I would be okay voting on it now, but I do think they need to be accurate, and I think staff's going to look at it again.
Okay, then we need a motion then. You made a motion?
Sure, I would make a motion
To approve the
to
minutes.
approve now.
Approve the minute?
Yeah.
Okay, second.
Robinson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, 4-1. Okay. Commissioner McMahon, you had number 8.
I'm going to withdraw my
Okay.
question on 8. I read through it. And
Okay, you want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Robinson seconds. Okay, any further discussion on 8? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carries. Okay. We're on to mix.
Item number 10 is a request from the IT department for approval to authorize submission and acceptance of an award. This is a very quick turnaround. What happened is that the Metropolitan Environmental or Emergency Services Board had unspent funds. They asked whether any counties would be able to execute a grant. There were only 2 counties that were able to do that, us and Dakota. So this is a request from the county board that we can submit a grant. We have the funds budgeted. We could match the grant, so we could end up getting about $100,000 through the grant.
Okay.
Move approval.
Commissioner Schmidt makes a motion to approve. Commissioner Robinson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carries.
Item number 11 is also a request from the IT department for approval to authorize county staff to enter in agreements with Midco to purchase additional bandwidth and services. This would be subject to final county attorney and board chair approval since it didn't get completed prior to the board meeting. This is a budgeted capital improvement program of $25,000 in one-time costs, and I did include the CIP for your information.
Need a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Commissioner Schmidt makes a motion to approve. Need a second.
Second?
Commissioner Moffitt seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carries.
Item number 12 is a request from the county auditor for approval to approve the attached resolution, which would deal with classifying and appraisal of tax forfeited land pursuant to Minnesota statute 28201.
Okay, need a motion to approve. Commissioner McMahon makes a motion to approve. Need a second. Commissioner Moffitt seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carries.
And I did want to note, Dennis had mentioned the surprisingly, the list is not as long as it has been in previous years. So even though you're always surprised at tax forfeits, it's actually a good sign it's shorter. So item number 13 is a request for tax abatements for Mr. Nathan Beatty. The request is attached. There was a lack of understanding of homesteading and the need for an application. And as you'll see from the application, the county assessor and the county auditor both recommend approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Walker makes a motion to approve. Need a second.
Second.
Commissioner McMahon seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Carries.
Item number 14 is a request from the National Association of Counties and the Association of Minnesota Counties to approve the proclamation of April 2015 as National County Government Month.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Commissioner McMahon makes a motion to approve. Need a second.
I'll second it. Oh, sorry.
I'd like to discuss it. What do we, it says we're gonna celebrate, what are we gonna celebrate, a tax statement? This, we don't need to do this.
I'm not gonna.
We don't need to do this thing, because it's just busy work.
Yeah.
You know, celebrate our tax statements, so I can figure out if you're gonna have a celebration of what?
Well, traditionally you would
Traditionally, you do it.
Celebrate what?
Well, you know, we talked about the big three: public safety, public works, and public health. Those are the three main functions of county government. So you celebrate the services that you're able to provide.
Chief.
I think it's busy work.
You second.
Yeah, I got it.
I appreciate Commissioner Robinson's comments. He's absolutely right, but I think there could be some public education benefit in letting the citizens know about the government maybe, and in that basis I'm going to second it. But I appreciate your comments. And I kind of wondered about it when I saw it.
Yeah, I did. What the heck?
Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. 4-1.
Item number 15 is a request for application for an exempt gambling permit from the Viking Blue Line Club.
Okay, need a motion? Commissioner McMahon makes a motion to approve. Commissioner Robinson seconds. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carries.
Item number 16 is a request application for an exempt gambling permit for Pheasants Forever.
Need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Or second. I would
Commissioner
second.
Mosca.
I move.
Commissioner McMahon.
Whatever.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Carries.
Item number 17 is a request from the county board to return with a draft policy regarding eligibility for per diem and mileage reimbursement. The draft policy, the county attorney had a first chance to look at it. It's in front of you. A couple of brief comments. Sorry.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to move it, except I would like to take out of my motion the paragraph that begins at the bottom of page 3 and ends at the top of page 4. Other than that, I move the adoption of it.
Go ahead.
And that paragraph says, it talks about a failure to do that and so on, and I can discuss why I think we shouldn't do that, and why I think to put it on the rest of it on the table, I think is a good process to do.
Did anybody second this?
Not yet.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Mosca.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner McMahon.
Could I discuss it?
Go ahead.
I think this is a very important process to go through because it's been some time since we've talked about mileage and per diems. I totally agree with that. I believe that I cannot support that paragraph because I think I think it's undignified, and I think I just don't support that paragraph. I don't think it's necessary. We're a board of 5 equal people representing each about more than 10,000 people. Well, not myself. I have less because I have a smaller district. But each one of us is professional, works hard to do the right thing, and I think that paragraph is inconsistent with that. I do appreciate that this is done. I would not be opposed to tabling my motion to approve this until after a work session so we could further discuss it, or we could adapt. I would also be willing to support it. I do think it's well worded generally. It does constrict somewhat some of the expenses. With the except for mileage, the per diems that are already, that's the way we're currently constricting that. So it's only, the further constriction would be claiming of mileage. But I don't think that that's too big of a deal when you think about it, because it's really, but I would not be opposed if someone would move to table this until after a discussion, a work session.
Commissioner Rob.
Could you explain what, I didn't see what paragraph you were talking about?
This is a paragraph. And we're finishing up the next one.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to comment.
Go ahead. He's reading. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Commissioner Robinson's reading the motion. But ever since I've been on this board, I've been trying to eliminate some of the committees that we've had. I've been trying to eliminate some of the mileages that's been collected on our policy. I think we have a policy that I haven't, personally, I think we should have a work session on this or something like that so that all 5 of the members of the board can give us some input on this. As it is right now, I second it for discussion only. I think that our policies and some of the things we're talking about here are directly related to what we as county commissioners should be doing, and that should be part of our salary. And I felt that way ever since I've been here, and I still feel that way. So I don't know what things I want to take apart here or discuss here yet this evening, but I think a work session is good.
Okay, Commissioner Robinson.
To me, I think the per diems are the meetings that you're assigned to for a committee. 'Cause right now, for
By
the
statute.
the Township Association, Rick and myself are assigned to it. George comes to that meeting. I believe George should be able to collect mileage for that meeting, but no per diem. Just the people that are on the committee will get the per diem. Also, I feel the only way you can collect a per diem for a board meeting or a committee meeting is to be there, be in attendance, not, if someone wants to dial in that they can't make it, that's fine, but they shouldn't be able to get a per diem for that. I believe you have to be here to collect a per diem. And then as far as mileage goes, the only mileage that I believe would be paid if you're going to, well, the board meeting or a committee that's assigned, and that's it. The other, if I drive up north to my cousin's place to talk about a road or something, to me that's what's
your
against,
business.
to me it's against a lot of collect mileage for that anyway, and we don't have to get paid every time we turn around.
No.
We're getting paid to do a job, and the committee meetings is what I, last Wednesday I went down to the Capitol and I testified on the truck deal, on overweight. When I first was told the meeting was going to be at 4:30 Wednesday night, well, then it got changed to 6 o'clock Wednesday night. By the time they got sat in their chairs, it was 6:15. There was 4 things on the agenda. We were the third one. It was about 9 o'clock when I got to testify. So I went down to the Capitol. We met like at 5:30. So that means I left Russ City around 4. So then we meet before the meeting, then we sit there and wait, and you testify, get out of there, and I got home about, 11 o'clock. And I didn't get no per diem for that, and that's fine, because that's part of the job we're doing. That's what we get paid to do, is stuff like that. I turned in a mileage deal, because it is our legislative deal is one of our committees, but you can't, put in a per diem. And I believe in that. I don't think every time you turn around, you should be able to put in a bill for it. I think all we do is get paid for our committee meetings, and then the mileage to go to somebody else's committee meetings, and then that's it. I don't think you have a free-for-all.
We should just adopt this now.
You want it?
Well, I'm just saying that that's what Commissioner.
I
agree with Commissioner.
I don't
Robinson.
agree with that. The part about the teleconference, I don't have nothing against doing it, but I just say you don't get paid for it.
No, I agree.
Otherwise, we could have all 5 of us, one in Florida, one in Houston, and one in Vegas, and whatever, and all on TV running a meeting getting paid for it. Well, that ain't right.
No.
We got to be here.
Okay, Commissioner Walker.
Well, I guess I have to apologize to the board because I know that this has been thrown on our agenda maybe 3 times already this year. And, I see that there's specific language about not charging to attend meetings that have to do with sex offender notification meetings, specifically. And while this is in fact an issue that's on our board agenda. I did attend. I think I was.
It's not a committee.
No, it's not.
No, it's not a committee, so that's.
But certainly, it is of public interest, and I did show up, and I think I was the only one that did. And I see now that somebody's working very hard behind the scenes to redraft these policies to eliminate that. So I have to apologize.
You can turn in per diem for it, did you?
Oh, gosh, no,
Well, then-
but I
well,
did
then why
charge
is it-
mileage for
Oh.
driving there. I think, that we have an instance where we.
I just think that mileage got to be to a regular committee meeting.
Well, we are all elected officials, and of course, that offender was in my district, so of course, residents asked me to attend. I thought it was related to the business. Certainly, we just enacted a moratorium tonight. It's very related to county business, and I apologize if I've offended someone by simply doing what I thought was my job.
And that's what we're getting paid for, do our job. We
And,
get paid.
I think that it's important to note, though, that as elected officials, we differ about how we treat certain elected officials. And I want that to be very clear, because that same meeting, I was there, the sheriff was there, a lot of law enforcement entities were there, and they all drove their city and county patrol cars there. But then to say I wasn't supposed to be there in some regard and maybe shouldn't pay $5 for mileage to get there and back is really.
We didn't say you shouldn't be there. We
No,
just said
no,
you
no.
can't charge mileage, that's what we said.
What Mike
We
is
never
saying-
said you shouldn't be there. I was at one in Russ City a few years ago, and I just went there. And that's what that's part of what we're getting
That's our
paid to
job.
do here. We don't have to get paid for every single.
I think it's
Yeah.
important to recognize that while we all do agree on our salaries each year, that as a whole, this entire county board makes just a tiny bit more than our sheriff does every year. So I think we're reasonable. I think we're fair. I certainly think that we treat staff very well compared to how we treat ourselves. And I think we're nickel and diming the board over senseless stuff that the public is obviously concerned with and wants our participation in. I'm sorry I was the only one there.
Commissioner
Mr.
McMahon.
Chairman, I think this language is very clear. It says no mileage for things that aren't officially
Committee business.
committee business. And I agree with that. I mean, I would like to, if I'd have a second on the we have a motion on the floor, I think I seconded
It's already
it.
done, yeah.
But I'd like to amend it to eliminate all mileage and all per diems. And operate on our salary, which we get. And that's an amendment I'm gonna have amendment to the motion.
But if you do that, you know what you're gonna have? You're gonna have 5 people about 80 years old sitting up here
Yeah.
that can afford to.
I agree, but
Because
this, I
that's
agree.
what we're getting paid is at the poverty level.
Mr. Chair.
I would bring that up at the beginning of the year
Well,
or at the end. when
Mr.
we
Chairman,
separate.
that's why I said I'd like to have this go to a work session so that we could all talk about, and we could, and beginning of the year, when we adopt our committees and we adopt our policies, I'd like to talk about it, but I think it has become an issue, and let's address it, in a work session or something. We could do that before a board meeting, and I know what meetings that I think should be appropriate to
Yes.
put it. I thought I still had the floor.
Yes, sorry. I'm sorry,
Okay,
Commissioner.
I'm seeing if he agrees with you.
Oh, okay.
He'd like to table it.
Well, I agree with everything everyone's saying, but we have to have a policy so that everyone's clear, everybody understands. I understand that committee meetings, official committee meetings, are eligible for per diem and mileage. Now, I go to a lot of meetings which I don't do anything, and I'm not putting in mileage. For instance, if I go to the Chamber of Commerce, I'm the speaker at noon. Should I be able to charge for that? No. That's part of my job as a county commissioner, to go to those kinds of things. My job as a county commissioner is to go to one of my cities. When my cities call me and say, we have an issue, I go. But I think that's what we get paid for, not to put in per diems and not to collect mileage for.
I think we vote on this for now, and if someone wants to do a different deal at the first of the year, we'll look at it. We got a policy here that basically says you get per diems for the committees you're